A populace. Answer that for me. Wherever the nearest town is with a populace, that's where you want to go. Can you retool multiple laundromats at the same time or close? Sure. But James, I'll say this to you. Your eyes, you remember grandma saying that your eyes are bigger than your stomach or your plate is fuller than your ass? I don't know the saying exactly. I have had, in my 20 years of doing this, only 2 people that ended up with 2 stores on their plate at once. So, great thought. I love that you are a go-getter and that you're interested and intrigued in getting this done in that way, but I wouldn't concern myself. Also, in our circle, in our group, we walk away from more stores than we say yes to. So if you are confronted with 2 or 3 potentials, we're probably going to say yes to 1. I hope that answers your question in total. John Tank, would you recommend doing the retool in stages or whole thing same time? All at once. I'm very opinionated. You could do it differently, but what I would do is leave room for expansion, if anything. But you're not going to leave shitty, junky old equipment, and that goes back to the psychology. I don't care if you've got a national chain or local greasy spoon, a coffee shop, or a nail salon. Your psychology of your potential and existing customers is very important, and also something that laundromat operators ignore, and that's why we do so well. What am I getting at? If you partially retool, again, a very fearful, we're starting to see a theme develop here, fearful. If you retool in that way and customers come in on Sunday and it's packed, and they see that row of old top loaders that barely work, that you can't keep up with, that are broken all the time, that are duct taped shut, that say sorry, out of order, what's that consumer going to think psychologically? They don't care about you any more than they do Jack in the Box, who's some nameless, faceless bobblehead. It's just a laundromat, and they want to get their chores done. This is in my course. A consumer will wait an hour for a machine as long as they're all working. It's life. Ho-hum, the train comes by every hour. We're stuck, waiting. But the minute the hour passes and it's an hour 15 and the train doesn't show up, people start to get pissed. I don't care if it's a little mamacita with 80 pounds of laundry and 3 kids biting her ankles, or a millionaire who's on business, who's got to wash his skivvies. No one wants to wait while they're looking at broken equipment. I could answer these questions all day. We're going to answer the last few, and then we're going to get to Hender and an equipment retool in his store. Chad redacted his first message, and Chad started a new one. Any exceptions to 0 down payment, i.e. total equipment package cost or lack of existing equipment, where we as operators would have to put any money down? They're going to ask you for 30% down across the board, Chad. That's what they do. Sounds like we've consulted. I'm not sure if we have. But that's not the reality. Whether you're tall, short, fat or skinny, old or young, they're going to ask you for X, but you're just not going to provide it. Anyone on this call who's dealt with distributors, or the distributors that are on this call that are quietly, mousily sitting back and saying nothing, they know this. They're going to ask you for 30% down. They say that is gospel. They don't need it. They're manufacturing this equipment. There is no Cadillac, and there's no Hyundai. I hate to pick on Hyundai, those are good cars, but there's no differentiating equipment. They hate that I say this, but they're all the same. Every single patent on everything they've done is run out 30 years ago. It's all the same shit. When they come up with something they think is new and different, it's something you don't need, or something that's computerized that you don't want. Less is more. Donald says, can you get an SBA loan for equipment purchase? No. No, unless you're independently wealthy. Now, that might scare you, going back to fear. You're not going to find a single fucking YouTube video anyone talking about how they got an SBA loan or Wells Fargo or Chase Manhattan or the Navy Federal Credit Union gave them money to buy or build a laundromat. Why? I'll wait. Because what I've been screaming from the mountaintops for 20 years is true. Laundromats fail because people buy or build them. See how this is rolling back? See how this catch-22 is happening? It's a snake eating its own tail. In other metaphors, similes, and proximities. That should not scare you. It should make you understand that exactly what we do is the only way to do this. Scoop up the infrastructure through a lease, then retool. If you had enough cash liquid, you could go tell them that you're going to start a Braille dartboard company and Wells Fargo will give you the money because they have recourse. You have a 20-year checking account with 1.4 million liquid cash. First of all, you're an idiot because it's not insured by the FDIC, but you can walk in there and cash a check from John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Wells Fargo will let you do it. Then another guy shows up. Hey, his name is my name too. All right, sorry. Shot out of a cannon today, excited. I do these types of calls all the time with existing clients. If you're early on and all you're doing is watching this guy on YouTube, welcome aboard. Get the silly course. Next level. Once you do, you might decide in the course content and videos that this is not for you. Great. You've probably already decided you want a way out. Step one, phase one. If you want to get on the phone with me, my consultations are a bottomless pit. I don't charge by the hour or the minute. I never have. No one's ever taken advantage of it. Thousands of clients have my phone number. No one takes advantage of it. Please don't start calling and texting. I'm a giver. I want to give you what you need and make you comfortable. So get the course. If you want to talk to me, fine. If not, totally up to you. I'm in flux with clients because the next level would be, if you're concerned, would be hiring me to call landlords like you see me doing on my channel. I'm the only one on the planet that does it. Think about that for a minute. What do I charge? Not enough. Because there's no other option. There's no one else that will do this. You don't like my style? Good, do it yourself. You're thinking about bringing me on board? Please do that before you muck it up. Many of you know what I mean. Getting to a point. Then you end up in a level where we go back to the original call, like Hender we're about to call. He emailed me. We're going to read that here in a minute. I just literally looked up the email because he's sending me quotes, and my email list was backwards, so I saw the first email he ever sent me, and it was so poignant. I have this huge grin underneath this gruff exterior because we're going to read that email to you now. That was in October, 9 months ago, and he's got a laundromat. You may think, oh, that's a long time. No, it's not. He's retooling. So I'm in flux with clients every day. You don't see it live. Hender has been kind enough to say, hey, man, let's show all of this. I'll be flying to New York, bringing Shelly, eating pizza and dirty water hot dogs, and bringing you Hender's full story all the way through tons of profit and the next store and the next. This is my daily. Whether I'm in this office or I'm on my boat or I'm traveling the world or on the 107 acres I just bought. You guys think I should put together a series? We're going to be building some shooting cabins up near the Grand Canyon. Well, tough. For what reason? However, it doesn't show. However, you decide, however, it doesn't show. Sorry about that. We're having fake grass put in a corner of the yard. It's a long story. And of course, they need me now. Jack says, here we go. Putting the cart before the horse. But he's still going to say it, Jonathan. Are dollar coins worth it or pure just quarters? Dollar coins are a thing that's going to become an issue because they're going to leave the store. But either of those is better than cards, for the love of God. William says, with any physical renovation, such as closing up open areas, creating seating, etc., are those renovations included in the distributor's bid, or will I need to hire a general contractor? All right, 3 balls now in the air, William. You can get that money looped into the loan like anything. A good bank will give you additional money to put a hot tub in. Okay, follow me? I've seen it. They'll even kick you cash back. They can do that. Secondly, will you hire a GC? Dude, let me ask you, William, are you the kind of guy that would renovate your own kitchen? I would. Maybe you're not. You don't feel like you have the skills. Okay, take a deep breath. Now, are you the kind of guy that would paint your own garage? Maybe not. Everyone on here, think about that. Are you the kind of guy that would help your neighbor paint their garage if they throw in a 6-pack? And I'm talking drunk as fuck, throwing paint everywhere. This is a laundromat. So it's your renovation, the neighbor's garage, laundromat. Slap the paint on the walls, dude. Someone will charge you $2,000 to paint the place, or you can go to Lowe's Depot and spend $150 on paint. Get yourself some rollers. Honest. Has anyone here ever pulled apart a small engine? You say, oh, there's the problem. There's a rock in it. No offense to car mechanics. Not too many of them are geniuses, or they wouldn't be doing that thing for money. Sorry. Not sorry. It's not hard. Do it your damn self. Don't hire a GC. Put up a wall. Come on. Easy stuff. I'm asking guys here and gals, if you have a question and your name is Smoke Check 7 or I Heart Unicorn Farts, please put your name before. Hi, this is Bob. The only innovation manufacturers come up with are their payment systems, conveniently giving themselves a cut. There you have it. An extra $90,000 in your retool for something you don't need. I have a client in New Mexico who lost their laundromat before they found me. Why? Because they had a card store and the system broke and broke and broke, and then everybody left. They wouldn't come back. William says, your negotiations are worth every penny. You guys are awesome. I don't want to be salesy on these calls, but thank you. Chad, excellent. Thanks for confirming my understanding. Not sure what that was. We're going to get to Hender here in a minute. What's a ballpark? But somebody, I'm going to write in here. I'm going to put a bunch of X's so I know when I stopped answering stuff now, and we're going to come back to you guys later. God, I'm smart. Breaking my arm, patting myself on the back. Thanks for confirming. One of the boxes to get into the budget. What is a ballpark budget to get into this business, Donald? Nothing? Zero? It becomes a game for those of us who have done it again and again and are continuing to do it. You don't want to spend any money. Why would you? If you have $1 billion in the bank, do you think that you go put your autograph on something, or do you think you spend your own money? So, nothing. Come at me, bro. That's what it is. I know Donald does not have the course because it's all in there. It may take a bit longer. You may have to expend some energy. It's not sweat equity. It's the only way to do this right. Distributors are the necessary evil, and they want to sell you equipment, but don't deal with them until you have a lease, and that will cost you nothing. Michelle, love to have the women on here. The woman folk. Hi from San Antonio. Hi, Michelle. Donald, it's called Free Laundromat. Thank you, Nick. Just talked to Nick today. Donald, got it. Get the course. Don't try doing what Danny does. He's the best at it, says Alex. I've seen him in action. Seen? He gets the landlord's attention even when their tenants aren't in default. Thank you. You'll screw it up. Let the master do it. Thanks, dude. Means a lot. Jack says, I will come paint it for $2,000. Yeah, exactly. All right. Let's have some fun. We're going to jump on with Hender. First, let me read to you his first email. I don't know how to show anything. There's people that know computer stuff. I'm not good at it. This is awesome. I got an email October 20th. Maybe we should call Hender before we do this. No, we'll talk behind his back. I'm getting there. Relax. He's got a bunch of pictures. My name is Hender. Should I do the Hender voice? My name is Hender, and this is his second email. God damn it. Oh, all right. He wrote me an email. Hello, friend. Do you negotiate leases for future acquisitions? If yes, I would like more info and would like to explore the possibilities on doing business, please. Thank you. That's the whole email. And his email is much like Unicorn Fart 37, okay? So his email does not have his name. I am such a dick. This is the first time we've ever interacted with our friend Hender. And guys and gals, I get emails like this daily. I really do. And I roll my eyes and I say to my lovely wife, Shelly, what is with these people? I know Hender now. I've met him. Gonna be seeing more of him. Here it is quickly. Hello, friend. Do you negotiate leases for future acquisitions? ? If yes, I'd like more info and would like to explore the possibilities of doing business. Please, thank you. I write back, your email doesn't provide a signature, so I'm not sure what to call you. If you're doing business, I suggest you fix that. Oh, what an asshole. I have no idea what you're asking me because I don't think you meant to write the word suture. Get a hold of my course. Oh, God, it's so bad. But you know what, guys? These aren't automated responses when you email me. I take the time to email. I'm usually talking to text in my phone. Ask anybody. I am Johnny on the spot because your questions are important. They're poignant. And you're vibrating like a tuning fork. You've decided you want a laundromat and you take the time to email me. It means a lot to me. If you don't give me your name, Unicorn Fart, I'm going to be a dick about it. Get a hold of my course. That's going to be your first step. I'm not trying to zap you for hundreds of dollars. The truth is, if you're interested in getting into laundromats, that's your next step. This is not a canned email. I wrote Hender back the same day, 20 minutes later. There's a link in the description of every single one of my YouTube videos. I didn't give him a link. I didn't say, give me your credit card. I'm going to have someone call or visit. That's the whole email. He wrote back, same day, October 20th. I appreciate that, Danny. My name's Hender, and his last name. The word I meant to say was future. I'm in the process of negotiating a purchase of a laundry. 4 years old. Now, I've already tuned out when I'm reading this, and so should you. 4 years old with new equipment. Good God. Here comes the hammer. 900 square feet. I'm meeting with the lady tomorrow and wanted to know how to approach it. She's asking $260,000, 15 washers and 20 dryers. Now I'm vibrating like a tuning fork. I say an explicative here. Explicative? Let me just read it for you. Jesus Christ, 3 exclamation points, Danny says. I am thrilled for you. Thrilled that you found me before you did this! Exclamation point. A 900 square foot store will never earn money. Stop what you're doing. Watch this. And then I give him a link to a video. This one's public. I'm pretty sure I know which video that is. She lost $300K. Then I give another sentence here. Watch this one. It's not public because the people who bought this store are so humiliated. I made a video with some folks, and I can say that. This is a private video. If you email me right now, danny@freelaundromat.com, I'll send it to you. I have permission to do that, but not make it public. They gave $180,000 in cash in a briefcase for a laundromat that was losing money, is losing money, and continues to lose money because they drank the Kool-Aid. And when they showed up with a cashier's check, the woman said, let's go to the bank and cash it, with an enormous man with her to guard the cash. The video is horrific. I deal with these kinds of stories on the daily. I remember I was in Belgium with my wife when I consulted with this couple, and I was almost vomitose. I couldn't believe how the story was unfolding. And I have the link for you. I'm not going to ask you to buy the course or jump through any hoops. Email me. I'll send it to you. It's hard to watch. It's almost an hour long. You're hearing me go through the motions of hearing their story. And it's not just that they bought a laundromat. They were robbed. And these are, frankly, meek people that didn't know what they are doing. Because most of us never step foot in a laundromat in our adult lives. I grew up with nothing, and I didn't go to a laundromat. I write to Hender, watch these 2 videos and email me back. Same day, I say something about his signature, blah, blah, blah. And then he writes me back the next day. I'm sorry, this is his email the next day he bought the course. So Hender, it took him a day to grab up the course. Enough of this. We've been emailing each other, Hender and I. I'm seeing October 21, 24, 24, 24, 25. And then he consulted with me. So if you're seeing the course now and you've completed it, you want to get on the phone, that's all easy. Let's call Hender without further ado. I'm a one-man show. It's Shark Week. I know you guys have subbed. Now's your chance. Danny D.
Donnie D.
Were you watching the live? Are you aware that I'm on YouTube's?
I heard that you were talking behind my back.
You fucker. Dude, I was just looking for the quotes that you got from the distributors. And when I clicked on your name on my email, it flipped it. And I was like, oh, here's the first email ever. It's so funny to look at that now and realize we met in Florida. You sat on a live with us, and that was great fun. And, 50% ain't bad. There were 2 guys on the couch, and here we are with one of you with a store. All right. God bless you, Hender. Tell me what I have missed. You signed your lease, you got your store, no money down, free laundromat, blibbity blobbity blue, 12 months of free rent ahead of you. When you're in there sweeping the floors and you have that clean and clear air ahead of you, that's a very different feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, it feels definitely good, and that you're moving in the right direction.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for the words. All right. So, as you well know, and we're kind of preaching to the choir here, but talking to the group as well, if you bring distributors, I should say, if you visit with distributors, be it Hips or Speed Queen, Wascomat, American Dryer, Dexter, I leave some out, but all of them, if you start visiting with them before you have any interest in laundries, before you've spent any money, they're going to vet you. They're going to look over their glasses at you. They're going to size you up. Okay, this guy is 30. He's probably a joke. Does he have a wedding ring? Does he have some wrinkles? Is he wearing a Rolex? All the shit that they do when you go to buy a Ferrari, right? You're going to go through that. So don't. And I'm not talking about the cut of your jib or your jewelry. Honestly, I'm talking about how they're going to vet you. It's something you're going to have to deal with. You have an accent. So don't. Get a lease under your belt, sign the lease, and then bring every distributor literally to your store. Tell us about how that process is different. How did it go? Please tell me a funny story, for the love of God.
Well, it's so funny because they come to you, and then all of a sudden you get all these different. In the beginning, when I didn't have a list and I tried to contact them, they would give me the cold shoulder. Now they invited me to lunch, or they want to bring me to this restaurant, and knowing the law of reciprocity, I just stay away from that. And now I just focus on the quote that they're giving me, and I tell them that it's not a secret that I'm looking at other distributors at the same time.
I love to pick on car salesmen, right? So if you roll up on a bicycle, an old Schwinn with a flat tire to the Ford dealer, they're not even going to come out of the air conditioning. They're not going to see you as a proper up. But you roll up in a 2-year-old Ford 250, the wife and kids pile out. Damn. They're going to be stabbing each other with their pens to get to you because you're the perfect up. No excuse, right? There's your trade in. You're a Ford man, and you don't have the excuse. I got to ask my wife. You are now that ladder perfect up. So no funny stories. They offered to buy you a steak dinner, and you said no. Good. I'd take the dinner, man. Get a free meal. Who's
Yeah,
now?
so
First
no.
thing I want to know. A lot of them will stand out. Some of them will show up and they'll say, you know what, the place has good bones. They'll ask you about your background. They'll ask you not necessarily. It won't feel icky like they're trying to find out what your net worth is. Did any of them rise to the top in that way?
Yeah, some of them ask question and you know, trying to be a concern or worry about the laundromat and what it's going to do, and kind of make you aware of, don't do this, or be careful with that, or be mindful of this brand, or make sure they tell you this, or this is what they're not going to tell you. So
that's
you
good.
know, at the end of,
when they talk about loss and fear and failure, you know that you're on the right track, because if they're all blowing smoke up your ass and everything's puppy dogs and rainbows, then you're probably barking up the wrong tree, to add a few more ridiculous analogies to one sentence. But you want the guys that say, hey, be cautious of this. My mentor talked endlessly about failure. If you do this, you'll fail. If you do that, you'll fail. And that's what you want, someone that's realistic with you. So you have that. You probably, and that was one of the things, and I hate to say it, but I have the same sort of conversations. When you were ready to sign your lease, it's a standard, not a spiel. I hate the Yiddish word, but I say to every single client, I'm doing that 4 or 5 times a week right now, where I say, hire a lawyer. You are about to sign a legal and binding document. And then I say what? As a friend, I'll tell you, you don't need a lawyer. They're not going to take your firstborn son if you don't pay the lease. Typically, especially small landlords, are not going to do a thing. If you've lost your business and you lose the lease, what are they going to do? And you're smart, you've got an LLC, et cetera, et cetera. And you know that. Those are standard. And this is one of the standards. When you're meeting with the distributors many times, and I can't put this in a YouTube video, I guess we're doing it now, but the good ones will rise to the top. You'll know the difference. And you probably already have that figured out.
Correct. And you know, some of them is just like a little confusing, and you know, go back to what you say in the beginning, that look, you know, even when we got the lease, you said it again and again, you know, look, I'm not going away. This is not, you know, I'm done and see you when I see you. You know what I mean? It's just that constant reinforcement of like, well, now I'm confused with this 100 G-force or 200 G-force, or you know, you get this, or you get, you know what I mean? All that.
Sure.
Details.
You know, some people just they're anti-tech. I have a friend. He's not watching this. His name is Gannon, and I call him Gannon the Cannon. He's an accountant, so you know the type. Very rotund gentleman, highly intelligent, and he loves reading manuals. He says his wife calls him Manny because when they buy a new toaster oven, he sits down and reads the whole manual. I'm putting together, I don't know, a helicopter, and I'll throw the manual away. It's like, you know, what could go wrong? We're just very different people. Some people love hearing about the 4G and the 5.7 and this and that and the other. What I'm going to talk to you about is general, in that what we need to do every time is first sign a lease, then bring every distributor in. Typically, they won't even all show up. Did they all show up? Did they all give you bids, or a few of them just ignored you or put you on a blacklist or didn't show up?
Yeah, it was hard to get them all at the same time, but I got about 5 of them, and I got the quotes from each and every one of them.
Good. I'm looking at 2 emails from you. Without opening the emails or looking precisely, I see that you've forwarded me the emails. My standard would be to look through these, look at the pricing, understand that it's all pretty standard, that they're trying to zap you for ridiculous prices, And then the standard is to email them back and say, sharpen your pencils, boys, because I'm making my final decision. What are your thoughts on these particular quotes?
Well, one of the questions that I have first and foremost, it was with the washers. One of them is quoting me on the 100 G-force. I think it's the spin ratio of the washers. And the other one is 200 G-force. Okay. So I'm confused on like, what should I?
Sure. Let me explain. And they all call it something different, right? There's two types of washers, essentially. And we're not talking residential and commercial, but that could be another embarkation point. There's two types of washers: agitators and extractors, right? You might have stopped me if you heard me ask this question. If you're a piece of dirt, would you rather be extracted or agitated?
Extracted.
No, you'd rather be agitated because you want to end up staying in the ladies' underwear, or keep going to school in the kindergarten, striped shirt or the uniform. As a piece of dirt, you don't want to go down the drain. You want to stay. So an agitator is basically a top loader, right? It pisses off the dirt. It agitates it. It's if you've ever washed your camping clothes, it's a 5-gallon bucket, a little bit of water, too much soap, and a stick. You're agitating the dirt. Now, the extractors we also call them front loaders. They are extracting the dirt. So the dirt's bye-bye, it goes down the drain, and it's never to be seen again. That's what you as a consumer wants, okay? So the G-force is referring to the extraction, and the G's that are created, right? The gravity force, just like a Formula One driver, or zero gravity if you're in space. So more is better. And they're also just creating their little kitschy verbiage and charging you more for it. So at the end of the day, these are salesmen. You've seen that. These aren't the guys that show up and do your lawn. They're the ones that email you and then come into your air-conditioned house and tell you what it's going to cost to do your lawn monthly moving forward. That said, there's a lot of silly little terminology that they're going to use for this equipment. So the G-force is just something that they use to say this one's better. That's why it's 800 versus 400. Does that make sense?
It does.
It was explained to me very explicitly 100 years ago when I asked one of my distributors, why extractors? What's the difference? Why do they need to be? And he's like, well, they're J-bolted into the concrete. Okay, I'm new to all this. Why does that matter? Well, a soft mount or a top loader like you have in your house, it has springs inside. It agitates the dirt. It spins, because that's when the dirt gets removed, when it spins. And in the spin cycle is where the action happens, right? Agitate, spin. And he said these words: if they weren't J-bolted into the concrete, they would take a walk out the front glass, over any cars in the parking lot, and they'd go right out to the highway if the cord was long enough. I was like, good to know. Understood. So those industrial equipment, now there's another flip side to this. That industrial equipment costs a lot of money. The better, more efficient equipment is going to cost more, but it's going to earn more. That should make sense. In the long run, they're going to do better by you. Also, and this is usually a question, Hips and Speed Queen, right? Hips is spelled H-U-I-B-S, and nobody knows how to pronounce it. It's like a woman's hips is the way I say it. Hips and Speed Queen are the same company, right? That's like Infinity and what's the other kind? Somebody can help me with that, whoever it is. They're just rebranding the same product. So that's what the G-force equates to. We are probably, and I'm going out on a limb, we're probably at the phase now. Have you told any of them that they need to bring a better price to bear? Do they know that you are dealing with other distributors? You said you try to, what we do, the game we play is bring them all in at once. Did you do that?
No, I didn't know that, but I make sure that I make them aware and told them that it wasn't a secret that I'm also inviting other girls to the prom.
That's going to get you in a lot of trouble. Scrolling through your emails, and what I'm seeing here is a lot of brochures. Unless I'm looking in the wrong place, but these just look like brochures for the equipment. And
No, the quotes.
okay, so I need to look at the specific quotes. What, who rose to the top? Who makes you feel comfortable? If it's a personality or pricing, what are you thinking at this point?
Well, at this point, like first of all, I guess circle back to that question. Do I want to stay with any specific G-force in this case? Should I go with, because some of them they gave me the quote for the 100G, and the other one gave me the quote for the 200G. So I'm not sure if should I stay with one or the other. That's kind of the first question I have to.
And they're priced accordingly, right? So
correct. They're like 800 or $1,000 more.
If you spend again, it's not a timepiece. It's not a house on a hill for you and your wife. But if you spend the additional money up front, and here's the funny part about this, you can tell them, I want the 8G for the 4G price, and they'll do it. They can do whatever. They okay. Really, this is like paying for undercoating with a new car. They hate me for telling you these truths, but the truth is these quotes are just that. That's why it says, I'm looking at one here that says, quote, right? And this is, here we go, $262,135.02, right? When we look at the line item, installation, this is huge. It's $11,500 for install. To existing gas, water, electric, and vent with modifications. You don't need them to do that. You don't. You can remove that from the quote. Any plumber, I installed my own stores. Luke and Lee Williford do it themselves, okay? I don't have dirt under my fingernails. However, any plumber and electrician can install this equipment. If you end up, and I know you're not getting any top loaders in this space, and you're not doing any high efficiency machines that are on springs that are agitating the dirt, right? We're not getting those quotes. Those, they'll charge you $400 a piece to install, just like a residential machine. You cut the box open, you throw the box away, you plug it into the wall, and you put the drain into the wall. Done. I don't know about you, but Lowe's Depot, I'm not going to give them even $50 to install. Why would I? Throw the box away. I'm looking at the quotes. So what are the different, you have 5 distributors giving you quotes?
Correct.
All right. So what are the swings? That's what folks want to know. What do the swings look like? What's the lowest? What's the highest?
Well, the difference is it's about, in average, the difference is between $800 to $1,200 in the machines. And what happened is that one of them has, for example, 25 pounds machine versus the other one have 20 pounds machine. So you know what I mean? Like trying to match that price.
Right. You haven't gone back to any of them and said, let's get this figured out. Give me better pricing. You have not done that.
Well, exactly that I haven't, because I wanted to speak to you first. You're kind enough with your time, and I wanted to get your, what I mean, the right, as you said before, English is my second language, and I love the way that you talk like me. So that was funny.
I'm not trying to do a Hender impression.
Yeah, you told me that you were going to do it, so I can't wait. Anyhow, so I wanted to talk to you first because they've been calling me, you know what I mean, day and night, and I want to follow up.
Yeah.
But I want to leave them in the back burner now, until I speak to you, so that way I go back to them and then say, look.
And that goes back to what I always say is that time is on our side. These guys have come out, they physically met you, they shook your hand, they gave you a quote. I know that you already have some guys that you think, hey, I'd like to work with this person because they either didn't bullshit me or bullshitted me properly. And they're always going to, but you need to check that. If you're buying a work truck, you should smartly go to Ford today and let Ford know I'm going to Chevy tomorrow, and then follow through.
Mm.
If you're a Dodge man like me, okay, sorry, you're out of luck. Because most people go to Dodge, they buy the truck they like. They're in love with it. And this is business. I'm looking at a $50 off coupon for a Coin Laundry Association professional membership. That's hilarious. What? I'm flipping through all the stuff they gave you. $599 for a professional membership, discounted to $549. Wow, I'm in the wrong business. My stupid course is $300, and these guys are charging $550. Did you know that the CLA's Facebook page is like they go in there and they quash people's comments? Anyway, here's the bottom line.
Will I get also the cars and the tables and things like that for them, or that should stay focused only on the
Yes, good question, great question. You want to have all the ancillary items rolled in. So changers, if you need them, go heavy on changers. Every single price is negotiable. And I know that we are on the YouTube machine, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you doing this, because you're the one individual that I've picked to sort of go through this process with. And let me say this, your next step is to email all of them. There's a little trick that we use where we accidentally CC them each other's quotes. Easy. Why not? Go through, make one standard email and say, are they all dudes? Are all the salesmen men?
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, comma. By the way, put a signature on your email, for God's sake. Gentlemen, sharpen your pencils, because I am in the final phases of making my decision on the equipment. Don't be personal, be curt, to the point I can even write it for you. One sentence. It's time. Ready to get this place retooled. The clock is a ticking. We're going to have to do better. These guys, unfortunately, are not your friends. They're not a mentor that you need. They're the salesmen. The guys that come out and install. Again, if you decide to bring a plumber in, you can line item through 11,005. I see the most expensive thing on these unit prices is their installation. And delivery, you can even balk about delivery. $2,200. Where are they delivering it from? Every car I've ever bought since I've been an adult, because I learned this when I sold cars. Ooh, what a shock. Delivery and dock fees. You're going to charge me to sign a document? All of that can go away. But remember what we learned when we were doing the lease? Not now. Don't email them and say, I'm going to install it myself and I don't want to pay you delivery. Delivery? It needs to end up in New York, so how are you any different from their warehouse? You follow? There's, let me do math. $13,800 gone. Go buy yourself a work truck. Gone. Don't tell them that now. What you're doing, these quotes are real, and it's what they want to charge. I don't need to go through these one by one and say, well, a 25, let's look at the most expensive piece. $9,939 for a 50-pound stack dryer. Why aren't we doing 45s?
He doesn't have he either have 35 or 50. He doesn't have the 45.
So every single laundromat distributor in the history of the world, they come in and they say, we're going to put 10 30s and 2 50s, right?
Yep.
One person will use the 50-pound tumbler because it's big, and they'll throw a pair of jeans in it. They don't care that it's $4.50 to dry. They don't care. They want to take good care of their designer jeans, right? You got a $700 pair of jeans, they put them in there alone. You'll see them checking the tumbler, making sure that there's no screws in there. They've learned in the past their shit gets fucked up, and they don't care. So you want from these guys what I've always done. Your sign out front says the most drying capacity in the state of New York. How do you do that? All 45s. Look at the price difference. 35-pound double stacks are $8,626, right? 50-pound double stack is $99.39. That's clever. Why is it $8,626? Why? These are drastically inflated prices, dude, and this is not what you're going to be paying. That's all. All this is a check you're going to write every month until you pay it off. That's all this is. And what we are doing now is diminishing that check. Mic drop. Have a nice day. So you're going to go back to these guys. You're going to say all of them. And truly, gentlemen, sharpen your pen. Put their quotes all in one email. Make it look like a mistake. Oops. Sharpen your pencils. They all know each other. Did any of them mention the other one? Did any of them say, oh, you got to be careful. You don't want to go with that Maytag?
It's so funny how your verbiage is just like so familiar and it actually happened in real life. So yes, it's like, yeah, have you met this guy yet? I said, yeah, I met with him. Oh, no comments. Oh boy. Oh, okay. Yeah, just not gonna say anything.
You know why? Because he fucked his wife. I swear to God, dude, I get this all the time. Folks sign a lease, and then they ask me. They're in New Mexico, they're in Colorado, just going through the lease has been signed this week, Texas. Hey, who do you know? Who should I go to? Even if it's here in Arizona, and I do know the distributors, don't worry about it. They're all the same. Oh, have you met with Bob yet? Oh, watch out for him. They all know each other. They all hang out at the same bar. It's like car salesmen and cops. So take that. And that guy didn't do himself a favor, in your opinion, did he? By saying that. Just like, well,
no, negative. No, yeah. You're right.
So now he's a little lower.
Danny, when they say on the drive, sorry to cut you off. When they say on the drive that they said that with the inside drum or stainless steel and that's like, $800,000 more for the dryer for the stainless steel and instead of the regular white thing. Is that something that I should consider or just?
Do you remember that from the course? Because I said, doesn't matter. Everybody, look, you're buying a house. I just bought a Wolf oven for Shelly because she's a professional chef. She takes such good care of us. It's not that she deserves it. It's that we use it. But you put a Wolf oven in a home and the price of the house goes up. It's literally something that's going to last forever. Of course, it's stainless steel. So what's the price difference between porcelain and stainless? A couple $100.
It's about $800. It's about, $800, something like that.
So only you can decide that. Keep in mind,
okay,
that is really a design difference. Stainless steel is it's harder to keep clean. By the way, if you do stainless, you're going to be asking me, what product do I use? WD-40. It's cheap and it works. Spray it on, wipe it off. Stainless is hard to keep clean. But what you're looking at is $800 per machine, and it's just a design thing. Stainless looks great. I can't tell you how many people have purchased a laundromat because they walk in and all they see is stainless because they're thinking about their kitchen and they're thinking about how nice it looks in a motorhome or a residence. This is a laundromat. So you can still walk in. I'm getting emails from people every day, and we're making calls on these laundromats that are still salmon colored. And then in the 70s, they'd do salmon white. Like, oh God, it's so 70s show. It's Little House on the Prairie, for God's sake. It's the 1850s. No. So white porcelain, you're saving $800 per machine. It's easier to keep clean. I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. White's lovely. You can do stainless accents when you design the outlet and the design of the shop. The hard part's decided. You have X number of connections, and we've already emailed back and forth. People are missing some of the rudimentary questions. How many machines do I need? All that. Well, it's already decided. You're not going to go with it high efficiency or top loaders. You want maximum wash capacity, and like you said, big machines in the back for your wash dry fold.
Danny, also, so it's clear to me now that obviously I wanted a bigger drawing just because we have a purpose of biggest drawing capacity and everything. So I got that. That gave me the question of 30 versus 45 or 50. So I'm going to go towards 45, 50. Done. Now in the washers, one company is telling me that they can fit 13 machines versus another company is telling me that they can fit 70 machines.
You know what I'm
Any
going to say?
thoughts on that?
There's three things the consumer needs to do: wash, dry, fold. And far too many of these distributors will try to wedge more machines in, and you're going to lose folding space. Imagine when they show you the layout, imagine someone coming in there and not being able to fold their clothes. You've just lost that consumer. So I'm not looking at the layouts, but make sure you have plenty of drying capacity. You're going to see, I was in Europe, I was in Belgium, I'm always visiting laundries, and one of the stores, people were folding and sitting on top of these high efficiency machines. They didn't have enough seating. They didn't have enough folding. So people will figure it out. But when someone is folding, what do you make from that? You make nothing. So distributors try to sell you washers instead of folding tables. But the folding tables are an important part. So imagine someone's folding on top of a machine. No one's going to feel comfortable walking up and say, hey, watch out. I have to put clothes in there. You've just lost that washer. So imagine stuffing an extra 2, 3, 7 washers in, losing drying, and losing customers. So that guy's
right,
stock.
Well, they all in one platform, all in the line. It's like a bowling alley.
Yeah.
So in the same space, that guy saying that he can fit only 13 versus the other guy saying 17.
My first reaction is go with the 17 machines, 100%. Make sure they're not HE. Make sure they're not a new model that they're trying out. There's been no research and development in laundries for 30 years. They're selling the same machines with the same guts and the same copper wound motors that they were in the 50s. There's no titanium hoses. They're still made of rubber. All of that being said, make sure you have proper folding. If he can squeeze those machines in, but they're less efficient, there's a give and take. That's the truth of it. I'm glad you're not asking me if you should put ferns in the store or mirrors or carpeting. This is an industrial space, and thanks for laughing at that. It's an industrial space, and yes, you do need to wedge as much equipment in there as you can, but also you need to give the consumer enough elbow room. They need to be able to move their carts around, and they need to have proper folding. I always built my own tables. I'd make them custom. Anywhere that there's space, you're going to have a folding table with proper dividers so that people, if you have a 20-foot folding table, one little mamacita will throw all her shit on there, and now you've lost folding for another 10 people. It's the way of the world.
Mm. So those 10 foot the table that had the divider in the middle, they're probably no bueno.
No, it's fine. Está bien, as long as there's dividers.
Okay.
If they're professionally built folding tables, or again, you could bring in any number of contractors and have them build you Formica tables. That's going to save you a ton. But it won't be rolled into necessarily your loan. Keep that in mind. There's a give and take. If you've got some cash set aside, and God forbid you want to start getting into having partners or anything ridiculous like that, I wouldn't, float the loan. And they can also, you can sit with some of the guys when they rise to the top and say, hey, I need you to kick back 10 grand so I can build my own tables. They can do it. They are the bank.
Got it.
What else is pressing? Go ahead.
Yeah. Should I, when they call me or they text me, should I call them back and say the same thing, or should you send the email to just like
I
the one
like
you told
the
me?
email. Some people feel icky about sending them each other's quotes accidentally. The email will be blanket. It will show that you are a busy guy, that you are doing other things, and that your time is valuable.
Okay.
One or two of these dudes will drop off the face of the earth. Already you've seen that Some of them are texting and calling on a daily basis. They're good at their job.
Yes.
They're salesmen. That's what they should be doing. And you've been leaving them at bay. At some point, you're either going to say, there's one of three things, right? I've decided to go with another company. I've decided to go with you, or you need to sharpen your pencil. So that's where you're at.
I got it.
Yeah, that's where we're at. And we'll come back and revisit this and take a deep dive and look at the quotes. Watch how much falls off. Don't mention, just tell them, hey, I have Hips, Speed Queen, Wascomat, ADC, Dexter, Continental Gerbeau. They've all shown up and they've all given me the quotes. Oops, here's the quotes. Sharpen your pencils, because truly, this is the two sentences. Truly, I'm making my decision based on price. And length of warranty comes next. Remember when we negotiated the lease, it was these incremental changes. I don't call cold. It's not a cold call, it's a warm call. You've scouted the store, you put the store in front of me, whether it's New York, LA, anywhere in between. I'm working with a customer in Guam right now, customer, client, a student, Guam, France. Half the time, I don't know what time it is. You put the store in front of me and the information in front of me, and we call. I'm not going to say day one, moment one, hello, Joe. I'm Danny. I want this laundromat space. I'm not going to pay the operator for it. I want you to kick them out. And by the way, there will be no down payment, no deposit, and I need a year free rent. We don't do that because it will never work. I can be a dick, but I'm going to not show the peen until we get our foot in the door. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so the same principles apply to this station.
Same applies. We're going to say, sharpen your pencils. It's like the lease rate. The most important thing when we're negotiating is the lease rate. Once we have that, and I never provide it, it's all these little incremental rules to live by. I don't negotiate jumpers. Jump. Terrorists, don't blow anything up. These are leases. It's important. You're going to be living with it for 20 years. So we start with the lease rate, which is the most important thing. Then I'll ask, do you have money? Why not ask it that way? They know what I mean. It's tenant improvement money. It's TI. You got what, $20,000 worth of free air conditioning units? Good on you. We didn't say that day one, minute one. We brought it up second or third call. Because the landlord at some point decides, all right, I'm giving Hender this space. I'm going to go through the process in many occasions of booting the current tenant who hasn't been paying, or they're slow paying, or they're month to month, which isn't anyone's fault. They're no longer servicing the community. And then when we get the lease rate and they've made the decision, what's the last thing we do with that landlord? Right before you sign is when the call gets made. We say, hey, by the way, we're not going to bring you a deposit. It's a slap in the face. It's insulting. And they always say yes. Because they fell asleep the night before thinking, all right, this guy's going to be my tenant. I like his style. He's smart enough to put a shark in front of me. He realizes that I'd parachute out of the deal, that you're the one signing the lease. Good. Never been a problem. We're doing the same thing with the distributors right now. They've given you your quotes. You declined having a steak dinner. Good for you, because you don't want to be beholden to anyone. No bribery. Now we're in phase two. Sharpen your, get the best price. When you get the best price, that's when we're going to scratch delivery and ask for ancillary money for folding, etc. And you could do this tomorrow. What's today? We can get back on this thing tomorrow. As soon as you gather all their quotes. And you can hold them at bay through the text and the emails and everything else. Like, I'm waiting on a few more quotes. True. Because now they're the ones that are spinning out of control thinking, oh my God, I got a $200,000 quote. I'm going to sell this guy, because you didn't say no. When it was me later in the day, I'd look at the quote right away and say, come on. Come on. You know, I didn't need to play the game anymore. Even when I was dealing with essentially one distributor who became a friend, bought the guy a fucking boat or two, you know. Even when that happened, he knew I was always bringing the other distributors to look. Don't make the mistake of becoming complacent and becoming a Dodge man.
Got it. And Danny, with you mentioned the HVAC unit with the landlord. How the question is, how do I approach it in terms of this is the quote that I got from, should I get like 2 or 3 quotes, or should I just tell him, look, this is what I need?
He's letting you handle it. So there's 3 ways you could handle that. He says, I will install X tonnage. You install X tonnage, or I'm going to let my cousin do it. And usually when it's the cousin, it's not going to be the best work. So it sounds like he's letting you get the quotes. Show him at least 3 quotes, at least 3.
Okay.
And, you know, no sour grapes if he picks the cheapest guy, but make sure you give him those quotes. You heard me yelling at Shelly because I've got this, my yard is a resort, and we did have this little patch back there where nothing was really going on. And finally I said, let's take care of this open wound and fix it up. And so I'm having that fake grass put in. It's Arizona. We have real grass. And I went nuts with this spot. We're going to put an outdoor bed there, you know, by the pool and everything else. Lights in the ground. Keep watching. I'll do a piece on it. But the point being, I'm on top of these guys. The guy that came out and the salesman that wrote the quote, they didn't even have a proper diagram of everything done. And I said, I think I can say it here. I put an in-floor safe under the, I don't know what they call it, the AstroTurf, right, from the Astrodome. It's this amazing shit that they put down. It looks like real grass. And I had them dig a safe into the ground. Why? Because I'm an asshole. They're like, what are you going to put in here? None of your business. I wouldn't say it on YouTube if it was anything. I'm not putting $1 million in gold in there. It's just a cool thing to move the tile and say, oh, look, there's a safe in there. It's awesome. And when the salesman came out, I said, no, I need you to dig a hole that's 4 feet by 2 foot and do this and this. It's all this stuff that they've never done. But if I'm going to get work done, I'm going to do something cool and kitschy and different. So when friends come over, I say, look at this. Point is, he said, yeah, $100 to dig the hole. How do you think the guys that showed up that are doing the work felt? They're like, what? We don't dig holes. Okay. I gave them $300 US, so they're happy. You know what I mean? Keep everybody happy. I'm not sure how that came up, but you know, this is the same thing, only you are not beautifying your yard. Your goal, don't forget it, ever, is to make money. And you're going to do that in spades. We got to get this thing rolling. We got to get this place humming. And it starts with the equipment. So keep me in the loop. We may or may not get back on board with this, but right now, sharpen your pencils, boys. That's what we are doing. You want to talk to some of these people on the live? Say yes.
Okay, I can jump in.
All right. Jeremy. If you guys have questions, we're going to run through them real quick. Jeremy says, am I gathering it costs more money to keep the card readers working than it's worth? Oh boy. From the moisture and heat. I was going to ask, is there a way to have coin and card? All right, Jeremy, let me tell you a thing. 100 years ago, there were no laundromats. Then laundromats came and they were cash. And anybody with dirty clothes and folding money could go in there and leave with clean clothes and no money. Works great. Then they started to build, the distributors started to make these card reader systems. And the card reader system is absolutely phenomenal for you, the operator, in every way other than taxes. You're giving and this isn't the biggest thing. I reported every single dime I made in every store, always did. When it came time to sell the empire, made it awful easy. You see me on my channel talking to salesmen, brokers trying to sell laundromats. And when we get to the point where I say, well, do you have bank records for that amount, for the income? They laugh every time. Oh, it's a cash business. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. No, fuck you. That's a lie. Ask them if they have the books. All right, I'm going on a tangent. The card reader system is fantastic for you, the operator. Agreed. A salesman will stand there. Hender, did they try to sell you card systems?
Yes, and like I said before in this call, that verbatim what you said is exactly what they said. You know, they said everything that could go wrong with the coins and everything that could go right with the cards. And I was like, am I really listening to him or you talking, because it was pretty much the same.
That's awesome. It's lockstep, dude. It's the same thing over.
You can give credits and you can do a special and you can do this and you can give a discount and you can exactly the same. So
Hender, you're going to have a slow Tuesday and they're going to want to, I should do a New York accent, I guess. Look, they're going to want to come in on a slow Tuesday and you're going to be able to give a 79-cent wash. It's the greatest. No. To answer Jeremy's question in total, it's a phenomenal system for you, the operator. Are you serving yourself or are you serving the consumer? Because the consumer hates it. Also, by the way, that salesman, like they did with Hender, will stand there for an hour till they're blue in the face and talk to you about how great it is. They never mention the customer once. Because they know your mentality. You're a greedy business owner who wants to be a greedy millionaire. Fuck the customer. Who thinks anything about them? You don't. So they use that in the sales technique. I say they, them, he, she, because this is what they do. And Hender is here to tell us that's the way it's always been. Why do you want to spend $90,000 on a system that you do not need? When you start owning 6, 7, 8 stores, we'll talk about it. It does make sense. Some of the people that you've seen on my channel that came to my Vegas roundtable make sense when you have 12 stores. By the way, your question goes further and says, is there a way to have both? Yes. Back in the day, it was only coin. Then they invented card. And all they did was build card stores for a while. So it was one or the other. Okay? Think about this. It was either card or coin. And now you have hybrid. So why did they bring the coin back? Riddle me that, Batman. Why did they bring the coin back? If it was so great, why not leave it out entirely? So I say, let any 7-year-old kid with dirty ass clothes become a consumer. By the way, the cards cost, they have RF chips in them. So the bare minimum is 78, 79 cents a piece. Are you going to be a good gent, a mensch? Are you going to hand that customer a free card and eat the dollar? Maybe for a while. If you do give them a free card, the only big thing, the best part, is when they put $10 on it and then they lose the card. But whose fault is that? I could go on ad nauseum. It's your fault. You see the guys on YouTube talking about how, oh, I can't handle collecting the money anymore. I'm going to do a card system so I have more of my time back. Great. Be selfish. The customer wants cash. They need $73 worth of laundry done. It's going to cost them $73. Don't complicate it. And you're correct. These are computer systems, kids. What's the enemy of a computer? Moisture, heat, and dirt. What does a laundromat create in spades? All three. The washers are throwing tons of moisture in the air. The dryers are creating heat. And there's dirt everywhere. Kelly says, hello, Danny, you're very good at what you do. Thank you, Kelly. It means a lot. Alex says, heard. Jeremy comes back to say, but also if you only do cash, do you have an ATM inside and take a percentage? Sure, yes, and correct. Take a percentage. Don't start getting into the ATM business or the soda and snack business. It's all in the course, all of it. Alex says, no cards, exclamation point. Damn Skippy. 900 square feet. Hender, you almost bought one. That's like a small closet with maybe 2 walls. I forgot about that, dude. When you approached me, you were about to spend, oh my God, you were going to spend $260,000 on a laundromat. And now you're getting quotes for about the same for brand new equipment. Wow, this has come full circle. This is exciting. This thumbnail is changing by leaps and bounds. Will Jones says, I'm so glad he found you. 900 square foot, horrible. Oof. Can you turn around and scratch your butt in 900 feet? Jack says, I like to say you can't even change your mind. It's so small. Okay, now they're talking amongst themselves, Hender. Are you still here? I can't, but I'm kind of fat. 900 square foot is enough for a financial grave. That's funny. So, very thankful for Jesus saving my soul. His name is not a cuss word. Thank you for pointing that out. But, you can take the Lord's name in vain, and that's a little different thing. How much money do you make per year, says Dawson, who just came out of nowhere. Okay, dude. Yeah. If you spin around real fast, okay, all right, we're talking about that. Zach retracted his message, probably a good thing, twice. Looking forward to attending the next Roundtable Summit. Yes, Vegas. It's always Vegas. Coming soon. Are front loaders better than top loaders? We talked about that. You're not going to do top loaders. Those are a thing of the past. And then Will answers him. Yes, I made it to a live chat. Sweet. Hi, Donald. Welcome aboard. Round is a nice $5 word. Okay. Are the distributors, finding Google distributors, a better method of finding those people? How did you find your distributors, Hender?
First of all, I went to the event in Orlando with you, and I met a couple friends in there that
nice.
I asked them.
Nice. So networking.
And also networking, correct.
Yeah. There's only X amount of distributors on the planet, so they're not hard to find. Will says GM Chevy. Hender, not Hinder. Sorry about the spelling. Dropping a Dannyism. Got it. People retracting messages left and right. I don't know if they're cursing or I've already answered the... Guys, I've already answered the questions. Thanks for retracting those. Does install mean mounting or is it just hooking it up? Well, the good machines that we use are industrial pieces of equipment, so it's all of it. It's mounting. But again, it might take me personally a week to install, and I get some laborers. If you know what you are doing, you do it yourself. It becomes a point of pride. And $12,000, $13,000, $15,000 for install? No thanks. Yeah, it's $400 a piece for top loaders just for throwing the box away. Mike Foot, Kansas City in the house. Mike, didn't you get a lease done? Your name looks so familiar. I have too many clients. What about signage? Can that be added to the distributor loan? No, because your signage is going to come from the landlord. That's part of the TI every time. Danny, would you agree with Keenan's video that some of the best laundromat locations are where McDonald's and dollar stores are in close proximity? Sure, absolutely. But Keenan also builds stores, if I understand it correctly, and I'm not looking at demographics to build a store ever. So I'm not going to try to find a McDonald's. In my course, it also says what we look for. 24-hour service centers like a 24-hour 7-Eleven within eyeshot to take care of the knuckleheads and the dope fiends and the hobos. Can you use those words? Things of that nature. It's all in there. Donald says, I know cards are a no. Yeah, sure. It's my opinion and it's right. But I saw a QR code laundry that was both coin and pay on your phone. Is that a good idea? Asked and answered. That's a computer system. It's going to break. Would you be against the LED system like Quantum Touch, Speed Queen, Wash, except for Quantum? I don't like that fact. It helps because it helps upsell customers with their deluxe options. You don't need it. Stop drinking the Kool-Aid. Hender, not Hinder. Hender, do you try to sell on their app pay system too? Did they try to sell you? Did they try to sell you their pay system app?
Yes, they try to kind of go with the whole package and everything, but we already decided that we was going to stay kosher with quarters, so that was a simple answer.
Yeah. Last question. This is going to come up for you, Hender, pretty quick. How should we price dryers? I've heard to price washers, but what about dryers? Well, dryers are done with time, and what you're going to do at first is you're going to look at what the competition is doing. You're going to lure the people in. That little bag of crack is free. Get them hooked, and then raise the prices. Period. End of story. Look at what the competition is doing. It's very important. Even the distributors, they can help you with what the local pricing is and what it should be. But you're going to be servicing the community better than anyone else. We're going to have a soft opening for Hender. We're going to have a grand opening for Hender. We're going to be doing coat drives in the winter. You've heard this before. And what in the summer, Hender?
Like it a lot.
Like it a lot. Barbecues. You are a community service. Hender, anything else you want to say? We're getting out of here.
Thank you for your time, Danny. You kept your word once again. And excited about this journey. And stick with the program and buy the course.
Thanks, dude. You don't need to sell me. And I want to say this because it's it seems disingenuous because I'm on YouTube with you, but again, I want to
stop it.
I want to be crystal clear. I'm doing this with folks every single day and having these conversations, and you're helping me because I can now point people that have signed their lease and they're bringing in distributors. I can point them to this video. So we'll probably whack this up, and part of this will also end up in the course. The poignant moment.
But Danny, if I can cut you off in there for a little bit, in my last thought that you know, that video that you sent me back in the day, months ago, about the $300,000, you know, in the beginning it sounded like, or it appeared to be kind of, I don't want to say salesy, but it's kind of like, oh, really? You're telling me something that I'm about to do? What a coincidence. Like, it kind of didn't sit well with me, but you know, after I watched it and realized kind of, yeah, it's similar and it happened. But fast forward almost a year later, and it's like, shit, you know, I was about to make that mistake.
Yeah.
So it's as real as you get. And here I am 8 months later, you know, with a laundromat, with a free laundromat, and into, you know, in the middle of these stages that you say in the course.
Yeah.
I'm living it, you know what I mean? So it's happening, it's real as it gets. So that's what I want to say.
Jonathan says, don't forget your under better management sign. Yeah, it's funny, dude, because I've gotten to know you. We met in person, which is rare for my clients. And, you know, I get emails from people who are like, hey, I see that you're in LA this week and we hang out. And it's like, oh, yeah, all right. You know, lovely. I don't need a free meal. But you and I have met. And I completely forgot that you're the guy that almost spent $260,000 on a 900 square foot store. I forgot. And I wouldn't have even thought about it, except I was, like I said in the live, I was looking at your email and the first one popped up instead of the last one. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'm like, holy shit. He's the guy among many that I go, dude, fix your signature if you're going to be a businessman and don't buy it. And it's funny that you can put yourself in that position and say, who's this asshole that sent me this video about some lady that lost 300 grand when that ain't me? Well, it was about to be. So I always appreciate your friendship, Hender, and your kind attention to detail when it comes to looking out for other people the same way that I do, in my own special way. And you're a lot kinder about it. So appreciate you, dude. I'm coming to New York pretty quick. Get the new quotes and let me know what you find out.
Donnie D! Out.
Later, skater. And he hung up. Kids and folks at home, I appreciate each and every one of you. If you're on here and you did not grab the course yet, come on, really? Link in the description. I honestly do not give a shit about a few bucks, okay? This thing that I do is to be certain that perhaps you never get a laundromat. Ask yourself this. What's plan B? How are you and your family, if you're 21 years old or 81 years old and you're watching this in perpetuity on YouTube or live right now, honestly, ask yourself, not me, don't jump in the comments. What's your plan for substantial wealth? Don't say lottery. Don't say Texas Hold'em. Ask yourself and answer the question honestly. What is your, and a lot of people say, oh, this business or that business, or keep working hard, or put my nose to the grindstone. Be realistic. I found laundromats 20 plus years ago. And me, the guy that does not bullshit, that doesn't have time for it, decided to start teaching and mentoring people like you. So there's your answer. Plan A is laundromats. I can help. See you on the next one.